Good afternoon, everybody. I'm just going to wait a few more minutes here before we get started. If you have a question, you can type it in the comments below, or you can message it to me privately if you'd rather not someone see your name. No health question is off limits. Hope everybody's staying safe today. If you haven't heard yet, we are going to be closed today for because of the weather. Too icy. Okay, one more minute, we'll get started. Who's got a question? Oh, got a question about the new kids supplements. All right. I will go get them and I will show you. Hey everybody that's on, you can start. I got one question, you can start adding more in there. Okay, so some of you might have seen over the weekend that we launched a kids line of supplements, which is awesome because usually we would just have to sort of make up a dose amount for kids. So I have two with me right now. A couple are already at the office or out in my car, which looks like it's frozen right now. But we have a Max Kids Probiotics powder, and so it's basically it's got 6 billion CFUs of probiotics in there, along with inulin, which is a prebiotic. So the big thing with kids is that if they weren't breastfed or vaginally birthed, or even if they were, the most important thing that you can really build in an infant is their gut health. And that goes with adults too, but they've suggested that they've actually studied that 80 to 90% of all of your immune system is controlled by the health of your digestive system. So strengthening your kids' digestive systems from the beginning is vital. So this is just a way to get a high quality supplement. I actually tried it myself before we gave it to Nora, my daughter. It doesn't really have a taste. I think it's going to sell for this is going to sell for $20, and it's got 90 servings in there. So it's a really, really, really big bang for your buck type supplement. You can just mix it with water or throw it in their smoothie. So it's a good way to get that done. So also, let's see what else is in there. Yeah, no junk whatsoever. Make sure you only give our kids the good stuff. Another one is a liquid omega and D3. So this is actually going to have extremely pure Arctic cod liver oil, which is one of the best sources of omega-3. It's going to have other MCT oil in there, and it basically tastes like raspberry. So I also tried this, and it's pretty good. So this has 48 servings in there, and it has 1,000 international units of vitamin D and about 500 milligrams of omega-3. So that's really good for a good amount for a kid. So the other one we're going to have is a chewable multi. So it's just like our formulations of multivitamins from Whole Food, very high quality, but it's going to be chewable, so it's going to be easy for the kids to take. And then there's also a detoxification powder. So, of course, for any of you that have been around long enough, you know that our supplement, we live in a very, very, very toxic environment, and so being able to start detoxing them very gently and very safely from a young age is going to be really important, rather than trying to clean out extremely toxic adults. So you'll see them in the office. They're good stuff, really, really good stuff if you have kids. And basically they're for any kid over the age of 1. So good question. Another thing we got as far as new research this weekend, that an aspirin a day, which was normally recommended for people that had a heart attack, so basically they gave it as a blood thinner. They did a huge study with tens and tens of thousands of people, and looking to see if an aspirin a day to thin your blood after a heart attack has any chance, actually not just an aspirin a day in general, has any actual reduction in the risk of heart disease or heart attack. And they found out that the percentage was not only low, that it was actually 0. So it's something that I can pretty much guarantee you, if you're over the age of 40 or 50, your doctor has recommended to do an aspirin a day to thin your blood. And the answer now is that it literally does nothing to lower your risk of heart attack, heart disease, or risk of death. And worse than that is that it actually causes gastrointestinal bleeding, damage to your kidney and your liver. So it actually does far more harm than good. Now, not being a medical doctor, I can't legally tell you to stop taking an aspirin a day. But if I were you and you had been prescribed an aspirin a day, if I were you, I would stop taking it. You see how I did that? That was pretty cool, right? That's how you get around the rules. So, yes, I saw that. I read your mind, Miss Diane. So, again, if you're interested in keeping your blood thin, you can do vitamin K, which is found in green leafy vegetables like spinach, kale, and again, aspirin a day does way more harm than good and has 0% chance of lowering your risk of heart attack or heart disease. So here's the question that I propose along with that. How many things have they told you that you need to be taking right now, that you're on right now, or you've been told to take right now, that not only have 0% helpfulness, but are also causing more damage? Things that make you go, Great question. What are some other things I learned this weekend? Oh, another cool thing is there's some research coming out of New Zealand right now from a large chiropractic institution, and they found that every single time you get adjusted, chiropractic adjustment, a very specific and corrective chiropractic adjustment, that it increases brain activity in your frontal lobe by up to 55%. So what they're finding is that the benefits of chiropractic care is that it goes beyond just obviously pain relief, which most people think it is, and people that are patients of mine know, of course, in our office that we utilize it for our patients as healthcare, not just back and neck care, but actually healthcare. But they found that it actually changes your brain. Literally every single time you get adjusted, you think clearer, your brain functions better. And frontal lobe issues are linked to things like Alzheimer's, dementia, and other very nasty chronic and degenerative diseases that we're all afraid of. So that's why you get adjusted at least once a week, at the minimum twice a month for the rest of your life. not just to feel good, which of course we want that, but to make sure your body functions as well as possible. Question about multivitamins, still give your kids vitamin C and D? Yes. You still would, because those are not in the multivitamin. It's more of a general nutrition like the B vitamins and iron and other things that kids need just for basic daily function. Great questions. I also been working on the challenge, the Bootcamp challenge that we're starting. So it's pretty much about 80% done, and I'm super excited about it. So if you have not registered for that event this Saturday from 10 to 12, it's a free event. I'd encourage you to do that now. I'll post the link in the comments. Basically, at the seminar, I'm going to be going over the mindset that is needed to really, no matter what your health situation is, overcome it. And then I will be explaining about an 8-week boot camp that's coming up following the event. It actually starts the 29th of February, where you're going to get a 60-day eating guide, or that's about 8 weeks, group workouts, and a online private Facebook group that you can be connected into. And let's see, what else? Support from me. We have a new Tanita machine, which is really cool. I set it up in my house to experiment around with it a little bit. So I'm going to show you how cool the calculations are that we can monitor as far as your health stats. So give me a second here if I can switch the camera around. Yes, okay. So here it is. It's a pretty cool device. So we start off by putting in how much your clothes weigh, so we compensate for that. So most people's clothes weigh about 2 pounds. I guess I would consider myself an athletic male. I'm 31 years old. I am 5'9". Okay, and then step on. Okay, and that gives us a little bit of a printout here. So, hold on, I'll wait till I stop moving. It's my first time doing this, everybody, so bear with me if it's a little jerky. But so what do we got? So on here, we have my height, weight, the BMI, the BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate. So it shows how many calories actually that I need to eat per day to maintain, which is obviously, I eat about double this. The impedance is measuring the amount of fat and muscle percentage in my body. So we want a low number for that because muscle conducts electricity better than fat does. Fat actually is an insulator, so it blocks that. It shows how much exact amount of fat weight I have in my body. So it has what basically my free fat mass is this, and my fat percentage. So we'll be doing this on at the start of the challenge at your weigh-in, and we'll have it in the office where you'll be able to be able to check and monitor your progress and see how you're doing, and we'll be able to set a goal for you, and I'll work with you individually on that, set a goal on what you need to get to within the 60 days. So pretty cool. The Tanita scales are really the most accurate by far on the market, unless you do water displacement, which costs a lot of money to own, but also to just to get done by a professional or at a clinic or something. So pretty cool stuff. We eat eggs every morning for breakfast. Can that be harmful over time? No. The answer to that is no. It is not harmful over time. I eat eggs probably 3 to 4 times a week. I alternate that with a smoothie. And I pretty much just alternate because I find if I do like one day smoothie, one day eggs, one day smoothie, one day eggs, I really never get sick of sick of either one of them. So good stuff. Yep, eggs every single day is fine. So kind of a quick rule again on that, refresher. Females would do about 2 eggs a day, and then males would do about 3. You know, if you're super active female, like exercising like 4 or 5 days a week, then you would do 3 eggs, and same thing for guys, you do 4 eggs. And we give usually Nora, like my daughter, when we feed her eggs, one. Sometimes she eats 2 eggs actually. So you cook them in coconut oil first, all right, because that's really the only stable oil to use. And then what you'll actually do then afterwards is melt butter on top of it, okay, afterwards. So then you get double benefits of good coconut oil and butter, and then put a little salt on there if you want to. So I hope that answers that question, Candace. If you can't do eggs, then I would say smoothies. It's probably the easiest. Good questions. This is better than I thought. I thought I was going to have a day off today and just sit around twiddling my thumbs, but this is good. I'm working. I like it. Better than watching the news, right? Okay, question is, how much zinc should you take in a day? To be honest, I do not know that off the top of my head, so give me 1 second here and I will tell you. I don't have everything memorized. And can you take too much? I mean, you can, but your body actually does a really good job of removing excess zinc if you have too much. So it's not really much to worry about there. There is something called a zinc challenge test, and so I'd have to order more to do that, but basically what it involves is you drink liquid zinc, and however long it takes for you to taste the metallic taste in your mouth will basically tell you how deficient you are. So some people will taste it right away and then they know that their body is sufficient in it, or if it takes a long time where they never taste it, then it was all absorbed and they don't taste it at all. So zinc, I want to say it's like, how much do we do? Well, I'm looking that up. Best type of flour to use for baking bread cookies. Almond flour is the best, along with coconut flour. Those are the two that I use for my family and I. We usually do like a mixture actually of the two of those, which seems to be the best, works the best. Any other flour is not going to be good, or it's going to be inflammatory. So coconut flour and almond flour. We use Bob's Red Mill almond flour or almond meal. You can get that at Whole Foods or online. It's a lot cheaper than at Whole Foods, but if you wanted just to buy it to try it out. Lots of good recipes in the Maximize Living book on how to do that. Also the paleo, if you search paleo recipes, they'll have a lot of good almond flour recipes as well. So zinc here, let's see. What you can do is you can start with like about 20 to 30 milligrams of zinc per day. But again, with that, and really with anything, it depends upon how much is in your body. Like, are you deficient or are you not? So those are a little bit tricky questions to really answer, like how much do you take of this, because it really depends upon the person, but you could definitely be safe with 20 to 30 milligrams of zinc per day. So I take something called Zinc Supreme, and it's got some B6 in there, and then it's got a chelated form of zinc, which means that it's going to get absorbed well by your body and not just broken down by your digestive system. Follow-up question, do you add gluten? I'm assuming that's in question to the baking. And so the answer is no. You actually, because almond flour and coconut flour are gluten-free, which is good, you want to avoid gluten. And that doesn't mean you just buy gluten-free foods, because usually those are garbage. Any packaged gluten-free food is usually going to be garbage, but you're avoiding gluten just in general, which the Maximize Living Nutrition Plans really outlines and helps you do if you just follow their recipes. So you'll have the ability to, this is a question about the challenge, I'm assuming, you'll have the ability to weigh yourself whenever you come in to the office. So it's really up to you. We'll just have it available in a private room to do that. So anybody in the challenge will be able to just go in there and test yourself, or one of the girls can help you do that. So you can weigh 3 times a week if you want, or 2, or whatever. You don't have to do it every week. It's just more for you to track your progress and hopefully be encouraged by it, because the program I've created is going to be super good, super effective. So it's more so some people are going to have different challenges. And so that way, if you're not losing as we'd expect, you can let me know, and we'll figure out what we need to do to add in. Bulletproof coffee, is that a must? It's going to be strongly recommended for people. You can do bulletproof tea if you don't like coffee, but I'm going to go over that very specifically at the seminar. Sorry, somebody called my phone. Oh, my wife is on. This is cool. Good. Keep the questions coming. We'll do another 10-15 minutes here. Saturday recording going to be live. Is Saturday going to be live or will be recorded? We're going to experiment with doing this Facebook Live thing. However, and that would really only be, of course, if you can't be there, because it's not going to be nearly as good, because you won't be able to see the slides. But we will record it, because there's going to be some people, and we'll email that out afterwards. But I can promise that you're going to want to be there if you can. So, got you there. Okay, for the fast that you often talk about that has a cutoff time after the 8-hour window, if you are an hour or 2 late, is it better to skip that meal or eat past the deadline? Yeah, so it is definitely better to skip that meal. There's power in the fast. So I'm assuming what you're asking, basically, if you're, let's say, doing 11 to 7, and based on a work schedule or meeting or travel or whatever, that you would, like, let's say you can't eat until 8 or 9 o'clock. Yeah, you wouldn't want to eat at that point. Because you're going to just basically confuse your body. So there's power in the consistency of that fast. So again, I'm going to kind of cover that a lot more specifically on Saturday. But yeah, short answer is yes, stay in the window no matter what. Now, with that, like, this is just a good skill in general, is to work on being proactive. So if you know you're not going to be able to get in the window, make sure that you're eating something earlier, or working around it. But that's a good question for staying on track. Just as a reminder, if anybody doesn't know, we are going to be closed this afternoon due to Mother Nature dumping more ice on us, but we'll be open our normal hours this week, plus Thursday from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. as well. We're not normally open Thursday morning, but we're going to do that to have extra time for people to get in. Good question. How often do you do a cleanse day, and what does that consist of? So I try to, it really depends. My wife may be able to better answer this question, but I'd say that at least once a month we'll do, and we've tried to do a little bit more here recently, where we'll do like only smoothies. It kind of depends on what we're doing. I mean, I don't really have any, I guess, specific formula, but there might be a day where we'll do just like a liquid cleanse. So we'll do just smoothies. So it's not necessarily fasting, but but we won't eat any solid food. So it'll just be like 3 or 4 smoothies a day if we need to, plus maybe a juice or 2 on top of that. If I don't have time to juice or don't want to spend the money, I will honestly just use the max greens and mix that up, because that's basically what it is anyways. It's just dried juice, so you can mix that in and get all the benefits you would from juicing anyways. So I've done periods where I've gone, in fact, I think it was in early January, I did 3 days of all juice and liquid, no solid food, except for maybe I had 1 avocado, 1 or 2 avocados, just because I was getting a little tired from all the adjustments. But there's different ways to do it. You can do a raw food cleanse. So what that would mean is you would just eat nothing cooked at all for, I mean, really you could do that for like a week to 2 weeks easy, because you're eating, food. So you do smoothies and avocados and, berries and raw vegetables and hummus and things like that. So that's a good one, because that really helps just take a load off your body from digestive enzymes. You can do juice fasts. Part of our 8-week boot camp are going to consist of within the 60 days, there will be 2 3-day juice fasts or max green, cleanses, I guess, whatever you want to call it, just to really help your body reset. So when your body's not constantly having to break down food, the digestive system, then, it gets to rest and recover and focus on other things. So digestion takes a ton of energy, especially cooked foods. So, like digesting a steak, although I love steak and I eat it a lot, it takes a ton of energy for that to happen, versus when you eat, and just do like a smoothie or, something liquid, it takes hardly any energy at all to break down. So I don't know if that answers your question. I will typically, if I'm traveling, I'll try to do a cleanse day or 2 or 3 after traveling, just because whenever I travel, I'm never as good as I would like to be. Or when we were out of town and over the holidays a bunch, we did a cleanse day after that. Or if I just feel like I need a little boost or a momentum shift or a swing, or almost sometimes it's more of a mindset thing, then I'll throw a cleanse day in there as well. More questions? Just gonna check and make sure that I got all these here. You're welcome for the information. Technology is so cool. Any other questions about Saturday's event, or any condition-specific things? What my favorite color is? Oh, good question about cell phones. Yeah, so, man, this is a huge, I don't know how to say really, concern probably, because I really don't think that we really know the true effects that having a cell phone on our body all the time is doing. So like what it's doing. There has been some studies come out that shows that kids using a screen before the age of 10 can actually permanently change their brain. So that is a concern. I don't know the specifics on or anything, and I don't know how many people were studied or who put that out there, but I've seen some just, I guess, some notes on that. Now, what I do is, and I can't show because it's actually, I'm doing this from my phone here, but I have a little chip on my phone that is supposed to disperse a lot of the, it's called electromagnetic frequency waves coming off the cell phone, so it's less concentrated. And so we can get those for you if they want. They're like maybe 20 or 30 bucks. And there's a little, sorry, it's my dog. There's a little, it's basically like the size of a dime that is, you put on your cell phone case. I do my best to talk on speakerphone or use a handset, and definitely do not hold the cell phone to my head at all. You know, they've found that it affects sperm count for men, so definitely carrying in the pocket is not a good idea for that. They found that it increases specific types of tumors. I actually did a YouTube video on cell phones, so I'm going to, probably just for time, for anybody that's interested, I'm going to post that in the comments here so you can watch that, because I really went over it and I was really fresh on the research at that point too. So great question though, because I think it's real bad stuff. And we're only using it more and more and more. And you absolutely should not be sleeping with it next to your head for sure. Demonstrate the proper squat technique. Okay, let's see if we can get this on camera. I don't know if I can selfie this, or let me see. No, it's not gonna work. But I can walk you through it. Basically, if you imagine that this is how my coaches taught me. Basically, if you imagine you're carrying a bag of groceries and you need to shut your car door, but your hands are full, what you do is you basically set your butt back first and squat straight down. You want to get your hips to the level of your knees and keeping the weight of your feet, the weight of your body on the fronts of your toes. It's hard to describe. So we'll be demonstrating that at the challenge though, or during the boot camp. Yeah, you'll be able to eat the essential bars. They are on the advanced plan. Some of you know that we got some Maximize Living approved bars in the office. They are low glycemic, they are low carb, they are good fat, they have chia seeds in there, so lots of nutrition. So yeah, they're a great snack. And you know, for $3.50, although that may seem really expensive, if you go to Whole Foods and look at the bars that they have there, some are way more, and none of them are really all that healthy. In fact, most of them have either some type of bad sugar in there or they taste like crap, to be honest. So yes, they do taste good. So those are 2 thumbs up. I've already eaten like 2 boxes of them. Yeah, you can buy them by the case. Yep. You can get them for a discount if you do that too. So just ask the girls in the office about doing that. Let's go 5 more minutes here, unless the questions start rolling in. Thank you all for everybody who's attended so far too. I didn't know how many people would actually show up. So what is the next phase after doing your weight loss program? I do the bulletproof coffee, high fat, moderate protein. I mean, really, that's what I do indefinitely. So the next phase is quite complicated, actually, but it will be a part of the challenge that we're doing. So I am not going to give out any specifics on that because you need to come to the seminar on Saturday. Shameless promotion, but it's a free seminar. No, but basically, I mean, listen, anything that you would do to lose weight, let's just talk about that specifically. Anything that you would do to lose weight, first of all, the challenge is you need to look at, okay, good, I see you, Micah. That's a good topic. So you need to think that anything that you would do to reverse a health challenge, to get healthy, to lose weight, is the exact same thing that you would do to stay healthy for the rest of your life and maintain it. So there's really no like kind of magic formula. Like I eat the way that I do and teach the way that I do, not necessarily to lose weight, is really just to be healthy. And getting healthy, when you get healthier, a byproduct of that is your body losing weight, right? It's the same thing. I don't have cancer, but I try to eat every single day in such a way that if I did have cancer, it would be killing it, you know? I'm not 80 years old, but I'm eating in such a way and living my lifestyle in such a way that when I am 80 years old, I will be able to still move and play with my grandchildren and great-grandchildren and, you know, not have disease and not be broken down. So, you know, that's when it really shifts from like, oh, I'm doing this weight loss thing, or I'm doing this maximized living thing, or I'm doing this diet thing, to I'm changing my lifestyle, and in the process of doing so, I'm losing weight because I'm getting healthier. Remember, like, weight on your body for whatever reason is a sign that something inside of you is sick. It's not just like the physical fat on your body, but it means that there's dysfunction going on in your body. You only put on weight when your hormone levels get off. You only put on weight when your body can't handle the amount of sugar and insulin overload that you're putting it through. So I hope that answers that question, but it really, again, it's shifting to anything that you would do to get healthy is the exact same thing you would do to stay healthy. That's a writer downer. Correcting the problem in your neck through chiropractic adjustments, you do the exact same thing for maintaining the health of your spine and your nervous system. It's not just about getting out of pain, it's about staying well. That's why it's called maximized living. Living meaning life, not maximized magically fix your problem or maximize pain relief. So you can stay in ketosis actually for up to 3 months. Ketosis means you're burning fat, so you can stay in that way. So when you're ready to come out of ketosis, then what you would do is you would go back on basically the core plan of maximized living. So you could add back in things like bananas in moderation, sweet potatoes in moderation, like just regular apples in moderation. But again, you still need to be careful, because if you do too much of that stuff, then you're going to start shifting back into weight gaining mode too. So you can do that. Go to the core plan of maximize living. It's chapter 3 in the nutrition plans book. But again, be careful and don't go too overboard on that. Otherwise, all that hard work that you did will come right back. And the other thing too regarding ketosis, it is actually very, 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 very difficult to actually be in ketosis. And the only way to know for sure if you're in ketosis is to measure through ketosis strips. So you can buy those at Walgreens or CVS and see if you are actually in ketosis right now anyways. You might be surprised at how hard that is to be in it, although it is really effective for reversing cancer and the like. One of the things that I think is even another good thing to pick up. I'll show you guys this here. I haven't gotten on it yet, but I plan on doing it for some experimentation, is to get a blood glucose monitoring kit. You can get these on Amazon for like $20-30. But basically, it's just it's the exact same thing as what a diabetic would use. You got a little lancet here, and you can digitally and electronically monitor your blood sugar with the little device here. And basically, here's the gist of it: is your blood sugar should be between 80 and 100 at all times if you're healthy. And if once you eat, your blood sugar after an hour should be up around 120, even eating a healthy meal. And after 2 hours after you eat, or excuse me, after 1 hour, it should be up to 140. After 2 hours, it should be back down to 120. And after 3 hours, it should be back down to around 100. So what you can do is you can eat what you think might be a good meal for you and measure your blood sugar response over that time. And if you stay too high or you go way above 140, 160, you know, that range there, then you know that A, what you ate was not good for you, then you can't handle it, or and then B, also that you might have an insulin sensitivity problem too. So it's kind of high level stuff with that. But if you really want to know the specifics of how your body works, and if you can eat certain things, if you or maybe if you think you've been eating healthy meals but you're not losing weight, I would be checking your blood sugar and figuring out where the dysfunction is then. And again, don't guess, test. It's always the motto. Do not guess. If you're guessing, you're potentially setting yourself up for failure. So that's why anything that you're really concerned about, you test, and don't guess. Okay, 3 more minutes, so maybe one more question. Yes, name of the Lancet system in the comments. It is the Presto Ega Matrix. I got it on Amazon. Let's do one more question. Quick refresher for anybody that didn't know, we're going to be closed this afternoon, but we will be open the rest of the week. It's supposed to warm up pretty nicely. And we're going to be adding additional hours on Thursday morning from 8 to 11, which we normally don't have. And also on Saturday, we have our seminar, the launch of the 8-week boot camp. But there's also going to be, if you don't think you can commit to the boot camp challenge, you can just do the seminar as well, because there'll be some great information on there about weight loss and just getting healthy too. And that's a free event, so it's at the Summit Church. And I will post the registration in the links for anybody that either didn't know about it, hasn't registered for it, didn't know if it was applicable to them, or wasn't sure if you could come. We got like maybe 8 or 9 spots left. 6 spots left we actually have. One more question. Is there a good ORC supplement for joints? I'm assuming you maybe mean OTC or over the counter, but yeah, honestly, so people have recommended, you know, like a long time ago. I remember even when I was a kid, they were saying like taking MSM and glucosamine chondroitin as for your joints. That's crap. I think you're not going to find a good clean source of that and a healthy source. We learned this weekend that pretty much any any vitamin and supplement company that charges hardly anything for their supplements are actually owned by pharmaceutical companies. So you got to be really careful about the sources where you buy this stuff, and definitely you get what you pay for. So for supplements for the joints, the 2 or 3 that I would recommend just off the top of my head, and of course it would depend upon the situation. Turmeric is number 1, or one of them. That's going to be anti-inflammatory, so it's going to keep inflammation out of your joints so they don't break down and degenerate. Number 2 would be vitamin C. So vitamin C helps your body produce collagen, and collagen is actually what your joints are made out of. So vitamin C would be the next one. And I would do between 2,000 milligrams to 4,000 milligrams a day minimum. And then the third one would be just making sure that your balance of omega-3 to 6s is good. So, and most people are too high in omega-6. So you could do, I would say about anywhere from 3 to 4 grams minimum a day of omega-3. So things like coconut oil, flax seeds, chia seeds is another one. So those are the 3 that I would do just for joints. And then also another one good for joints is exercise, movement. People complain, oh, my joints hurt, so I can't exercise. And the less you exercise, the more your joints are going to hurt and break down. The first beginning an exercise with achy joints or stiff joints, it'll be a little bit, tricky or tough, but it's way too important. You'll just keep slowing down if you aren't using them. Oh, wine, yes. Good or bad? Okay, so there's a couple ways to answer this. So I would say with wine there are some good to it, and there's also some bad to it. So organic, yes, makes a difference because conventional grapes, so non-organic grapes, are one of the highest pesticide sprayed fruits. So if you think about how much wine or how many grapes it takes to make a bottle of wine, you're looking at a lot of concentration of pesticides and herbicides. So yes, organic wine. And then red is better. Red is better. White, you really should never drink. Red wine is going to be much lower in sugar and on the glycemic index. So, I would say that you can get away with half a glass a day probably or so, or 3 to 4 glasses a week. There are some good things in wine. There's resveratrol in there, which has a lot of good antioxidants, helps to help your body fight free radicals. So, what am I going to say? Wine is pretty good. Tastes good. I drink wine probably, I go through my phases, but I'll have it 1 to 2 probably glasses a week, sometimes a little bit more, but I'd say on average one to 2 glasses a week on the weekends. But a good question, because everybody's always thinking about what about alcohol, if we're being honest. I'll wait 1 more minute, see if any other questions come in. Otherwise, we'll wrap it up. Big thing with any alcohol is you got to make sure you are balancing out with your water intake and you're not getting dehydrated. So also taking B vitamins after you drink is helpful too. Okay, awesome. Well, if I didn't get to your question, you can message that to me and I can respond back that way. Obviously, it looks like this was a success, so I'm going to keep doing this periodically when I can. I'll try to email it out or let people know via Facebook. So good stuff. Everybody stay safe today, and if you're coming in for an adjustment later this week, I will see you then. Peace out.